How's it going, everybody? Peanut Golfer here. Um, I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption 2, and this is at the end of the game. I have a save file where I've already beaten the game, so like I have the story unlocked. I don't have it 100% completed, but um, I've been playing using this save file, just kind of exploring around. And I didn't. Well, I've heard that this place is in Red Dead Redemption 2, but I didn't know for sure because I haven't really discovered it yet. But I heard that Twin Rocks is located in Red Dead Redemption 2. And so I looked it up and I discovered it in my game, and I was like, hey, Twin Rocks is here. That that location's in Red Dead Revolver. And so I thought to myself, I wonder if there's like other locations that are in Red Dead Revolver. I wonder if you can find those in Red Dead Redemption 2. Well, there isn't any, but there are a lot of locations that have a lot of resemblances to locations that are in Red Dead Revolver. And so I thought I would make a video because this made me wonder, like, well, I wonder where exactly is like Red Harlow traveling in a Red Dead Revolver. Like, where is he located at? But no, I put some markers down here because I'm gonna explore these areas and kind of show them as I'm talking in this video. Which, by the way, real quick, I want to give a shout out to he goes by the name of Waxy, and he made a video on the same topic, which I watched his video and I can agree with him, and I can see like that. Hey, okay, so so you see me moving the marker here, or the cursor here. In his video, which name of his video is called Where Does Red Dead Revolver? I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's called Where Does Red Dead Revolver Stand? Or where I think it's called Where Does Red Dead Revolver I can't talk. Where is Red Dead Revolver located in Red Dead Redemption 2? I think that's the name of the video. I don't know, or I don't remember exactly. But look up Waxy on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find that video. But in that video, he talks about how, so like where my cursor is at here, he talks about where the locations that you travel to in Red Dead Revolver, they're located north of like where my cursor's at. So they'd be like north of like this area, or like north of New Austin. So, which I can see that being that, because you have the Grizzlies like over here. You have like these big snowy mountains along like towards the left of my cursor here and towards the top of the cursor. But in Red Dead Revolver, you also play along. There's also a mission where you play as General Diego, and he's on the Mexican border. And so, and for those of you that have played Red Dead Redemption, the first one, when you're playing as John, after you get done with the missions in New Austin, the next place you go to is Mexico, which is on the other side of the San Luis River here. Um, and so that kind of made me think like, well, maybe it's not located like in this unmarked area here, like towards the north of my cursor. Maybe that's not where Red Dead Revolver is located at, but maybe it's in like New Austin. It's just a lot of these places have gotten like name changes to them. Um, so I'm just gonna kind of go to different locations that I have marked out here, and I'll show them to you. And then I'll also show like footages of what I think those locations are or were in Red Dead Revolver. And I'll let you all at home decide what you think. Um, Now, I also want to talk about this or bring this up too. I've heard that, and I think Rockstar did confirm it. I don't know for sure. I've heard that they've confirmed this, but I've heard that Rockstar has said that um, the universe that Red Dead Revolver takes place in is not the same as the universe that uh, the Red Dead Redemption series takes place in. So, kind of keep that in mind too. Um, and I'm kind of keeping that in mind also as I'm talking about this video. But I don't know. Um, Also, if they come out with a Red Dead Redemption 3, now this is just a theory that I have here, but if they come out with a Red Dead Redemption 3, I'm thinking that the story to Red Dead Redemption 3 might take place with the player maybe playing as Red Harlow again, like you could in Red Dead Revolver. But it's going to take place after Red kills Governor Griffin and avenges his parents' death. And I'm thinking that if the places that you visit in Red Dead Revolver are actual locations in Red Dead Redemption here or in New Austin here, um, if they come out with a Red Dead Redemption 3, and that is the case, and you get to play as Red Harlow after he kills Governor Griffin, and you get to kind of see what all he had to do to survive, and you get to find out what actually happened to him in that game, if they ever come out with a Red Dead Redemption 3. Um, maybe it's going to take place here in New Austin. But that, to me, that'd be cool if they did that. But that's just a theory of mine. Um, I don't know if they're going to come out with the Red Dead Redemption 3. I don't know if they have plans for that or not. I haven't heard anything. But for this video, um, I'm just going to, I guess I'm going to kind of go through like going from the first place that you visit in Red Dead Revolver and kind of work my way through that story. And I'll just kind of show like different places that I have marked here in New Austin here. And I'll just kind of make comparisons there, and I'll let you all decide if it makes sense to you or not. But the first place I have marked down here is, it's called Two Crows, and this is where you find the I think she's called the Donkey Lady or the Donkey Woman, but she's like hooked up to a mill, and it looked like whoever did this to her was making her like, instead of hooking a donkey up to it to like grind wheat, They hooked her up to it, which that's very cruel, and I don't know why anybody would want to do that to somebody. But this is the Wild West, and there were a lot of crazy outlaws and evil people back then, unfortunately. But here are two crows. This homestead here, it looks very similar to Red's house, to Red Harlow's house in Red Dead Revolver. Get out of the map here. Okay, so I'm on a hill kind of like overlooking this place. But yeah, if you look, you can see there's a main house there. Looks like it's been burnt down. And there's a little shack over here. If you go over here, you'll see the donkey lady. Okay, looks like she fell off. When I first visited here, she was hooked up to that. But yeah, over here, there is a house that's been burnt down. And, come on, horse.
Good fella.
Good fella. Yeah, if you walk up here, actually, I probably ought to start from down here.
That's my boy.
Okay, so you have a trail here. And you go up there, that goes up to the house. Now, in Red Dead Revolver, this is the first level. This is where you like learn how to aim with your gun and shoot and all that. You go down the creek bed here. Now, there isn't a creek bed in this game at this location. But in Red Dead Revolver, there's a creek bed over here where this trail's at. And over here, there's a little pathway, and there are some targets, right behind where John is at right now. There's like a scarecrow and a painted target. And then over where that pile of cactus, or that cacti pile is at, I guess that's how you'd call it. There's a fence there, and there are some bottles that you got to shoot as part of the tutorial. Then up here, there's a fence, and then you had the house there, and Red's dad and mother came out, and yeah, talked to him. Well, yeah, I'll go up here. Maybe the horse will cooperate. But yeah, you could go up this trail, and then the house would be right here, right where this house is at. So Red's house in Red Dead Revolver is located in about the same place as this house is in Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's kind of the same layout. You had a fence over here. Now, you did not have this stuff over here in Red Dead Revolver. But if you wanted to, you could walk around the main house, go over here. There was an outhouse in the back. I don't think it was located there. Yeah, it would have been located somewhere over here. You had another fence about right where this wagon's at. Or, yeah, it'd be about right here. You could go down here, and there's like a little chicken coop over here. So, I don't know. This could have been Red's childhood home in Red Dead Revolver. I'll bring this up also. The time or the year that the events of Red Dead Revolver take place are around the 1850s. And so in Red Dead Redemption 2, whenever you get to John, it's it's the year 1907. So that's about a 50, 60 year time span there. And so after Red's parents were murdered and he had to run away from his home, who knows? 2 or 3 settlers or families could have moved in to the house, maybe fixed it up. And, they probably added this. They probably added this over here, and then it got burnt down again by rustlers or what have you. But I think that this is Red Harlow's original childhood home. So I'm just kind of pan around here.
Easy now.
Okay, so the next place I'm going to visit is Twin Rocks, which is located right over here. Now that is directly north of Two Crows. It's pretty much north of Two Crows, and it's north of Armadillo. So I'm going to travel there real quick, and I'll see you all there.
Whoa, easy.
Okay, so here we are. We are at Twin Rocks.
Easy.
Now this location, it looks a little bit different than the Twin Rocks in Red Dead Revolver. But it's fairly similar. And again,
Settle.
this Twin Rocks, the year that you can visit this location at in Red Dead Redemption 2 is 1907. Who knows? A lot of things could have changed since then. So, again, you could have had settlers move in, maybe tear down the buildings and relocate them. Who knows? And there could have been a trail that originally went in the middle of Twin Rocks here instead of towards the right of Two Rocks or Twin Rocks. I can't talk. But yeah, you have one rock formation over there, the 2 buildings, and another rock formation over here. So I'll just kind of do a quick pan around the area here so you all can see what it looks like.
That's my boy. We're okay. Easy there.
And something else I wanted to point out, I just noticed this. So in Red Dead Revolver, when you're at Twin Rocks, there is a pathway that goes in between the two buildings and the two rock formations. If you look down here, there's a trail here, but it cuts off whenever it goes towards the settlement over there. So if that cuts off, then that could be the original trail that you get to walk down, or that you see in Red Dead Revolver in that level. Yeah, and then it could have went down there and maybe into Armadillo or Brimstone. Yeah. Maybe Armadillo used to be called Brimstone. Let's kind of zoom in here. Yeah, you see where that trail cuts off at? That could have been the original trail that went through Twin Rocks in Red Dead Revolver. But yeah, if we follow this trail, let's say that is the original trail. If you kind of can make an assumption here, it could very easily have led into Armadillo and then connected with the main street there. Or it could have went across the tracks at some point and then went like down through here somewhere. I'm going to visit Armadillo because this is the next place I'm going to talk about, and that's what I was trying to hint at here. But I think Armadillo used to be Brimstone. So let's travel there real quick. Okay, so here we are. We're at Armadillo here. Now, in Brimstone, in Red Dead Revolver, there is a train track that is connected pretty much right next to Brimstone. That's how people would travel to Brimstone mostly, is they'd go by train. But yeah, I just want to kind of show this here. So I'll go down these tracks. So the tracks would be here. You'd have the train station.
Stay away! The cholera is still raging!
But yeah, you'd go down, or you'd get off the train, go through the train station here, come out, and then you'd walk into Brimstone. And then there would be Main Street. You'd go down Main Street.
Everybody, get out of here! Armadillo is unwell!
And now guess where the sheriff's office was at in Brimstone? It is directly at the end of, is directly on the other side of Brimstone. It is at the end of Main Street. Guess where the sheriff's office at is here in Armadillo? It's at the end of Main Street. Now, Armadillo. Now this is another reason why I think Armadillo used to be Brimstone. If you look at the layout of the town, you have Main Street, and then you have some pathways on the side, or some other streets on the side, and then that's it. Brimstone is kind of similar to that. If you look at the layout of Brimstone. In Brimstone, you had Main Street, and then you had another street on the other side, and then you had another street on the other side of, so you had Main Street, Sheriff's Office, make a left, there'd be that street there, and then if you wanted to go back towards the train station, you make another left, there'd be a street there. Then you could go down that street in front of the train station, make a left, and there'd be another street. And then make a left there, it'd go back to Main Street. If Twin Rocks was connected to Brimstone, like the original path here, so let's say again, this is the original path that leads to Twin Rocks. You don't see any other paths leading into Brimstone necessarily. I'll show the footage here, but if you look at the footage that I took of Brimstone in Red Dead Revolver, on the outskirts of town, it looks like there's some other streets with buildings next to them that lead outside of town. So those would be like different ways of going outside, of getting out of Brimstone, or traveling out of Brimstone. Let's say this is the original path that leads to Twin Rocks. Let's say that it used to cut across the train tracks here, and then it went right over here. Now, to me, that would make sense. And then maybe you had another pathway over here, and it kind of led towards maybe this trail here, and then, or maybe it kind of joined this trail, and then this trail here kind of looped around here, and then you could walk or travel to Red's house in Red Dead Revolver that way. Do you kind of understand I hope you all understand what I'm saying here. So like if Two Crows, if that location was Red Harlow's childhood home, and there's a trail here that leads up to his house, that trail could go across there like it does in Red Dead Revolver, and then it could have joined this trail, and then it could have followed up through here, and then there could have been another trail over here on the other side of Brimstone, which is now called Armadillo, and that trail could have went up along this way somehow and then connected to here, and then that trail would go through Twin Rocks. I hope you all kind of see that connection there. That's how I'm seeing it. But let's move on to the next point of interest. I wanted to show off Fort Mercer here. Now, Fort Mercer, I think that is General Diego's fort that I'm not sure if he took it over or if that's the fort he was put in charge of. But I think that is the fort that him and Colonel Darren in Red Dead Revolver were stationed at. In Red Dead Revolver. And then they ended up, after the events of Red Dead Revolver, they ended up just changing the name to Fort Mercer. Either because of it being General Diego and he's a scumbag, or maybe the U.S. took over this area and some other general or some high-ranking official in the military with the last name of Mercer did something heroic and they named the fort after him. I don't know. But I think that Fort Mercer used to be the fort that General Diego and Colonel Darren were stationed at in Red Dead Revolver. I'll show you why here. I'm going to travel to Fort Mercer now.
Easy now.
Okay, so here we are. We're at Fort Mercer. Now, if you look here, at Fort Mercer, it's not a very big fort. It's roughly about the same size as Fort Diego. I think that's what they called it in Red Dead Revolver. But it's about the same size. I'll just kind of ride around here, let you all see the outside of it here. I don't want to go inside because there's some Del Lobos in there. And I don't want to get into a gunfight.
We're okay.
You have an entrance over here. Now at Fort Diego in Red Dead Revolver, there's only one entrance. But here in Fort Mercer, they've got an entrance over there, and then there's a main entrance in the front here.
Hey, easy.
The pea shooter?
Long live the king.
Yeah, this is Fort Mercer. It's what it looks like now. Now I'm going to show you something on the map here. In Red Dead Revolver, General Diego had his own train that he would use to either transport troops or for other reasons. I don't know exactly what other reasons, other than maybe transporting troops to like Mexico or somewhere. But it was located somewhere around Fort Diego. Look at where Fort Mercer is located at. If you go over here, guess what's over here? A railroad track. Guess where that railroad track leads to, possibly? Leads over here into Mexico. You go along here, and goes down here, and again, another point leads into Mexico. So, I don't know, but to me that makes sense that maybe at one point in time, Fort Mercer used to be Fort Diego. I mean, because the railroad tracks, they're not located too far away from the fort. The main entrance is right here. And so troops, if they wanted to, or the general and Colonel Darren, if they wanted to, they could walk out the main entrance, ride down the trail here to the train tracks, get on their train, and then go wherever they were wanting to go to, for whatever reason. Now, another thing. Notice, I want you to look at the name here. This name here. It says Rio Bravo. There's a level in Red Dead Revolver where you play as General Diego, and he is fighting on a trail that's connecting the U.S. border to the Mexican border, and there's like a big river in the middle, and there's a bridge there. The name of the place that bridge is located in is called the Rio Grande. So, that's just something else to add. Because I mean, we're talking the events that took place in Red Dead Revolver was like in the 1850s. The events that take place at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2 is in 1907. That's around a 50, 60 year difference. A lot of things can happen in that time span. Places of like important places could have been torn down, they could have been renamed. Who knows? But like the Rio Bravo here, maybe back in 1850 in Red Dead Revolver, it was known as the Rio Grande. I just want to point that out. I have this place marked here. I'm not going to visit it because it kind of explains what I was talking about here with the railroad tracks. But yeah, I think that Fort Mercer, it used to be Fort Diego at one point. So now the next place I'm going to talk about. You have Gaptooth Breach over here, and this is where you'll find a mine at. Now, General Diego and Governor Griffin, they became partners, and Governor Griffin, he owned the mine in Bear Mountain, and there's a lot of gold in that mountain, and that's how Governor Griffin got rich and how General Diego got rich. Well, General Diego could have used that train of his to transport the gold to wherever he needed to make money off of it. If you look at this train track here, it kind of connects close to Benedict Point. Now, if you look at where it connects at and where it splits off at. It splits off at here, and then it goes over towards here. Guess where it stops close? Guess what location it stops close to? Gaptooth Breach. That's where this mine is at. Now, with that being said, and with what the deal that General Diego and Governor Griffin had, you know, how they got rich, you know, who's to say that Gaptooth Breach isn't the mine that they used to mine gold out of Bear Mountain? Because I mean, like, you know, if you're going to transport a lot of gold back then, what would you use? You'd use a train. You load the gold up onto the train, and then you transport it to wherever you need it to. Well, there's a set of tracks right next to Gaptooth Breach. All they'd have to do is just load the gold onto a wagon, or a couple wagons, or what have you, and then travel on down the trail, and there you go. Or take it from the mine, travel up the trail to the train track, to the train, load it onto the train, and then they could transport that gold through here, get on this different set of tracks, go through here, unload it onto another wagon around here, and then take it up to Fort Diego. Another thing, I have this area marked. I'm thinking that this is where Bear Mountain is located at. Is it somewhere over here? I just wanted to say that also because, again, this is the only mine located here in New Austin. And if they're mining, and if Gaptooth Breach is the mine that you get to play, or that you get to visit, I should say, in Red Dead Revolver, and that's the mine that they use to mine gold out of Bear Mountain, well, it would make sense if that mine was connected to Bear Mountain somehow. And so, you know, if you kind of look here, you see how it's like darker here. That means that the darker it gets, that means that there's pretty much like a straight wall of land here that goes straight up. And if you kind of look off towards this area here, there's nothing but mountains over here. I'll use the Grizzlies over here in New Hanover, for example. Over here you have the Grizzlies, or over here in Amberino, I should say. In Amberino, you have the Grizzly Mountains. If you were to go travel up here and then look off over in this direction, you'd see more mountain range, or you'd see more snowy mountain range. That continues all the way through here, even up to this point here. So I'm thinking that Bear Mountain is located somewhere around here close to this mine. And if that's the case, and Gaptooth Breach is the original mine that was used to mine gold out of Bear Mountain, then to me it makes sense that that's connected. That all this stuff I'm talking about, I can see the connections here. And I can see that New Austin is the area that Red has to travel through in Red Dead Revolver. Now, I'm going to travel back to Armadillo, and we're going to travel to Tumbleweed.
Ain't you a good horse?
Okay. Now, there's a couple of theories I have about what Tumbleweed might have used to have been known as. Like, what town it used to have been known as. I think that Tumbleweed used to be Widow's Patch, and I also think it could also have used to been Brimstone as well. I'll start off with why I think it used to be Brimstone. Now, the layout's very different than...
Enjoy your day, people, and enjoy it safely.
Now, if you travel to Tumbleweed here, the layout is very different than what Brimstone looked like. I'm in Red Dead Revolver. Now, I highly doubt, I should say this, I highly doubt that Tumbleweed used to be Brimstone, but if you go up here, there's this big house up here. It kind of looks like a mansion. Kind of. I'm thinking that this house might have used to been Governor Griffin's house. I doubt it, but who knows? If Tumbleweed used to be Brimstone, they could have done a lot of remodeling to the mansion, to Governor Griffin's mansion. Or they could have just completely torn it down since they found out how corrupt Governor Griffin was, and then just rebuilt it. There is a gazebo over here also, and if you visit the mansion in Red Dead Revolver, there's a gazebo in that level too. So, if that's the case, then maybe, I doubt it, but maybe, if Tumbleweed used to be known as Brimstone, then you would have had Governor Griffin's mansion here. You would have had the railroad tracks here, and then you would have had the train station, and then you would have had Main Street that goes down through here, and then you would have had these other streets that go through here. Now, if Tumbleweed used to be Brimstone back in the day, again, when you're playing Red Dead Redemption 2, the year is 1907, and Red Dead Revolver, the year is somewhere in the 1850s. So a lot could have changed then. So if Tumbleweed used to be Brimstone back then, you could have had Main Street here, and then the other streets located there. You know, they kind of branched off from there and then connected again. And then maybe you had the sheriff's office over here somewhere, you know. You got a saloon over here. You know, they could have done a lot of reconstruction and tearing down of Brimstone throughout that 50, 60-year time span. And then, you know, you ended up with Tumbleweed, or the town of Tumbleweed. I don't know. I highly doubt Tumbleweed used to be Brimstone. I think more that Armadillo used to be known as Brimstone. To me, that makes more sense because I don't know, it's closer to Red's original home, and it's closer to Twin Rocks. And so, and, you know, another thing I wanted to add, who's the person that murders Red's parents in Red Dead Revolver. It was Colonel Darren and the bandits that he had with him. Well, who wanted Red's parents murdered? It was General Diego and his partner, Governor Griffin. Because Governor Griffin and Red's dad, they were the two people that owned the mine in Bear Mountain. And Governor Griffin made a deal with General Diego in Red Dead Revolver in that game, that if his partner died, then General Diego would become Governor Griffin's new partner. Again, if Fort Mercer used to be Fort Diego, that's not too far of a ride over to Red's childhood home. So, yeah, I think Armadillo used to be Brimstone, but who's to say? But yeah. There was another point I was going to bring up, but I forgot. I forgot what it was. I don't know. Maybe the Red Dead Revolver universe is a completely different one than the Red Dead Redemption universe. You know, maybe they just take places in completely different areas. I don't know. I see a lot of similarities though whenever I'm traveling in New Austin in Red Dead Redemption 2. I see a lot of similarities to places in that you visit in Red Dead Revolver. And like the layout that I gave you all and just showed you all just now, I'm thinking that the map in Red Dead Revolver is just showing like bits and pieces of New Austin back in the 1850s. So, but I don't know. If they come out with the Red Dead Redemption 3, that would be cool if they somehow incorporate like that'd be cool if in Red Dead Redemption 3 you got to play as Red again. And you get to see what happened to him throughout his life and what all he has to deal with after killing Governor Griffin. And if that is the story to Red Dead Redemption 3, then that'd be cool if they somehow put it in New Austin here, in like the same universe as the Red Dead Redemption universe. That'd be cool to see if they somehow connected that to like all the areas here that you get to visit in New Austin. And who knows, maybe Waxy is right with his theory on where Red Dead Revolver takes place at. And maybe it's somewhere in an area that you can't visit in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, but I don't know. Another thing I wanted to add also is if they come out with a Red Dead Redemption 3, I'm thinking that they might go back to making it to where you play as Red Harlow. And you get to play as the events, or you get to play through the events that takes place in his life after killing Governor Griffin. I think that because if you look at the story of Red Dead Redemption, the first one, you get to play as John Marston. And that is set after the events of Red Dead Redemption 2. I think Red Dead Redemption 1 takes place in 1911. Well, here in Red Dead Redemption 2, you get to play as Arthur Morgan for most of the story, but at the end of the story you get to play as John Marston again. Well, the year is 1907 at the end of Red Dead Redemption 2. In those two games, so Red Dead Redemption 1, the year of the story is set later than the year of the story in the second game. And so maybe in Red Dead Redemption 3 they kind of go with that same plot formula and they go back a certain number of years, like maybe 10 or 20 years, back in like maybe the 1880s or 1870s, and we get to see an older Red Harlow at the end of his life and what all he's having to struggle with maybe. So I don't know, that'd be cool if they do that, but yeah, that's all I'm going to show you here. I wanted to show the McFarlane's ranch, and that I think it used to be Annie Stokes' ranch, but I might show a clip of that later on, or I might add that at the end of the video. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. Hope you all found this informational or found it interesting, or I don't know. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and I'll see you all in the next